I'm going to try to type. Hi, Paula. I always forget I'm live. We've had a lot of lives this morning, haven't we? I didn't know if I was going to do a video today or if I was just going to do a live. Hi. So you don't have to be here. That's fine. I had a couple things that I was going to talk about, but we don't have to. Talking about recharging your battery, like your personal battery, taking care of yourself. I know Sally gets down on herself a lot for not, thank you, Paula, for not, like, she doesn't think she's motivated enough. And I think maybe she's not rested enough. So if she got a little more rested, I think that she would be more motivated. Of course, if we're not motivated, maybe we don't like what we're going to do. The other thing I thought we could talk about, if that didn't sound interesting, is kind of the whole lady parts thing, like hysterectomies and hormones and it's Rick. Rick doesn't want to talk about that, do you, Rick? But his wife might. So you guys can pick a topic if you want to. So since we do have, okay, we'll just start with recharge the battery. I wrote down taking your time. One of my problems is I'm like, I need to do this, and I'll start a load of laundry and I'll start washing the windows. And I'm like, oh gosh, I need to vacuum over there. Pretty soon I've got the whole house tore up, and it's like nothing ever gets completed by the end of the day because I've been running from every area trying to get it finished up instead of saying, this is today, this is what I'm going to do, and I finish it. Rick, you have 20 minutes and then you're leaving for the bookstore gig. Well, that sounds fun. Yeah, I saw Paula. We do have a dude in the chat. I only schedule 2 to 3 things. How long have you been retired, Rick? Because Paula and I are pretty new to it. So I tend to cluster too many things together in one day or say yes to too many things. And I get myself stressed out by the end of the day. 8 months. Do you feel like you have a handle on it? Yeah, what's a bookstore gig? Did you write a book? Are you going in there to sign autographs? Or I don't know what a bookstore gig is. Definitely you've got a handle on it. Okay. I think it's hard for us ladies sometimes to say no because we're the nurturers, the caretakers. Oh, you work part-time. Okay, I did. If I did know that, I didn't remember it. I work part-time around my house. So is your bookstore gig your part-time job, or is this play? Rick says, no worries. I also volunteer at a museum. A museum of what? Oh, okay. I get it now. He's calling a gig a job. I get it. Yeah, it would depend on the bookstore. I would like a used bookstore rather than a brand new one. Yes, Paula, I do too. And, the used bookstores have so many different smells in it. And when I was working, it was probably 15 years ago, this gentleman came in and he had a big black dog that looked kind of like a poodle. And he said it wasn't a poodle, but anyway, it was a big, big dog. And he said that since his wife had passed away, he'd gotten this dog, and the dog was his new partner in life. And if he didn't allow the dog, if the dog couldn't get in somewhere, then he wasn't going to go. I think the dog's name was Aster. Aster, I think. Anyway, I said, well, where's his favorite place to go? And he said it was the used bookstore because of all the different smells of the books being in different people's houses. He was, he could just spend hours in there. And let's see. Rick says, National Museum of the Marine Corps, Quantico, Virginia. Paula says, Rick, that's awesome. Love all the things Marine Corps. That is awesome. And Rick says, me too, Paula, the feel. So between your museum and your bookstore, how many hours a week is that? I know I'm feeling like I don't know how I got everything done, even though it was only a few months ago, because it seems like the entire day is full. I know I fit more in there, but I don't have to do it quite as fast. Paula says it's a great place to volunteer, and Rick says maybe 23 to 25 hours. That's still a lot, because that's still more than half of a 40-hour work week. Now, is your wife still working, Rick, or was she working? Does she mind you working part-time? She's probably glad to have you out of the house. She doesn't have to clean around you. You're both retired, okay. Does she do anything besides, no matter how you ask it, it doesn't sound nice. Does she do anything but around the house? Because that is a lot. I do it too. But does she have any outside gigs, as you would say? Hello, Peter. Paula says, Randy's subbing school bus driver this week. Oh, is he? Depending on the age of the kids, I suppose that could be fun. And Rick says, I'm also a homebody. She gardens. Okay. And Paula Grady. Peter. And Peter says, oh, Evie, I love the new wall art. Thank you. This is on my computer screen. So it's a super wide angle for some reason, because it doesn't pick up this much when I use my little camera. And Rick's saying hello to Peter. And Peter is smiling at Paula. Paula, do you watch Cynthia at Senior Insights? Or anybody watch her? Because she didn't post a video this morning, and she posts a video every morning. Thank you, Peter. I was hoping that, not to exclude the men, but the ladies that I feel like I'm close friends with, they'd be like, I want one. Everybody would get one. I thought that would be kind of a cool thing. I'd be like, I started it. Okay. I just hope she's okay. I think she emailed me either late last night or early this morning. I know she did. I just didn't look at the time. Yeah, because she posts a lot. Cynthia posts every day, and sometimes it's twice a day. And I know I post a lot too. So I certainly do not expect people to feel obligated to watch. I'm just practicing. And maybe someday somebody will say, hey, how did you get your videos to be so good? And I'll be like, I did it every day for 5 years. Let's see. And then Peter says you should open a viral store selling them. And Paula says maybe she has the dreadful fall allergies like a lot of us. Maybe. She's up in Maine. And she's got a dog named Quinny that's a Great Dane. She's got little short videos where she has Quinny roll over and stuff for treats. My goodness, that dog is huge. Yes, Paula, practice does make perfect, or at least better in my case. The whole thing for me is the not the state of mind I'm in, but the state of relaxed I'm in is worlds different from when I started to now. Rick says, time to go, Evie. Love your videos. You'll eventually find your groove. Always be sure to take time for yourself. You'll continue to grow mentally and physically. Just be you. You'll do awesome. Okay, bye, Rick. Have fun going to your book gig. And Peter says, to get better, you have to fail, then fail again and again until something clicks. Yes. I still struggle with a lot of stuff. And there's Mrs. G. Hi, Evie. She says to me, I'm not saying hi to myself. That's what it sounded like. So, do you have 2 channels, Mrs. G? Or just the one? I have pink wavy hands. I don't know what those kind of emojis mean, if there's something I'm supposed to understand. Peter asks, what camera are you using right now? It's the camera that's in my studio Mac Studio, whatever that computer's called. It's a desktop with a camera in the top. Paula says they just think me. They just mean hello, I think. Okay, good. I know, like Kenny K has special emojis for her group of ladies or team or whatever it is. Okay, so Mrs. G says, I do have one started, but I haven't done much with it. Means hi. I like it's being bright pink. So, Mrs. G, we started out here talking about 2 different topics. One was recharging your battery and taking your time, like not rushing through everything. I know you're still working, so you still have to rush all the time, I imagine. But we were also possibly going to talk about things like menopause. Like my uterus completely fell out in 2010. Those kinds of things. And whether you take hormone therapy, the replacement hormone therapy, or you don't. Oh, I forgot about Peter. So, Mrs. Paula says, Mrs. G, you have a second channel started? Yeah, I thought it was Mrs. G was in the name of it. And Peter says, I noticed when you're watching my stream, the camera kept flickering, so I need to fix that. Thankfully, I know what the issue is. I just need to fix it. It was flashing on mine, like kind of old timey. It was like flashing across the screen and rolling up. I did notice that. But for all I knew, it was an effect you put on there because you're supposed to be so technical. I think I noticed it when you were showing a screen and you were just the like picture in the picture. Mrs. G says, yes, I just have one listed that Lil J and I are going to do reactions, but it's not one that has Mrs. G in it. Oh, okay. I must be confused. You know, I'm guilty of it too, changing my channel name. And I think I started out with Simple Retired Life, and then I went to Evie's Retired Life, and now it's Evie's Retired. And I do like having my name in it because not only can I remember my name, but so can others. Mrs. Paula says, Lil J is going to do a channel with you. Peter says, no, it is the video resolution output. It was 780p, so 780 pixels rather than the HD 1080p. Okay, I gotcha. And Mrs. Paula says he'll be making side eyes. How old is Lil J and who is Lil J? Paula says, okay, wait. Mrs. G says, yes, Lil J and me. Yes, reaction channel. That's the plan. Paula says, you know, Jay gets sassy with mama sometimes. Lil J is my son. Okay, he's not the son that was in the car with you when you did your live. I'm trying to think what it was about. Oh, I can't even remember. Oh, that's him? Okay. He seems like he's very sweet. And what I also liked was how much he cares for his lady. That's very nice. Car chit chat. Hey, Rhonda. Thank you for stopping by. Peter says, I have been in the chat for more streams where it was underwhelming. Talking about menopause doesn't faze me. You know, I just hate to go on there with nothing to talk about and just sit here and look and go, somebody say something. So it was just to just have something that might strike some interest. So Rhonda, I know you got a lot of stuff going on because I watched your last video, but I do want to set up going to coffee with you pretty soon when things slow down a little bit over the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure. My daughter-in-law is going to have a procedure done on Monday, and she's going to be out of full commission for maybe 6 weeks, or I don't know, maybe longer. And my son is going to take 2 weeks off. So I'm going to help with the kids off and on. I'm not like, they're 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away. So I'm not like having to pack up and go stay there, but you know, like, need help with dinner? Do you need to run to the store? Can I watch the kids? That kind of thing. So what you can let me know, I guess I can look at your channel and email you to see like what your schedule is like. Wednesdays is not good for me because that's typically, which is tomorrow, the day that I go over to see the grandkids. And they ask me, the older one, the 5-year-old asked me if I could bring stuff to make pizza again. They love to do that. Well, I do too, because they're so proud of how well they can cook. For 3 and 5, they do very well. Mondays are usually good, sometimes Friday. Okay. All right, well, I'll email you. I need to make a note to email you because then I'll forget otherwise. I have so many little pieces of paper around I've got notes on. And then I get a notebook and I start using it and I don't like it. And I go back to the note cards. Rhonda, I have a friend, a very good friend from 3rd grade. And her name is Rhonda. But her mom spells it without the H. And I have a hard time putting the H in your name. We are still friends. She's on the West Coast where I grew up, but we're still friends. And I can remember going to her house in grade school. I mean, I loved Rhonda. We were both tall and skinny, wore the same size shoes, all that kind of stuff. And I went to her house I guess it was probably the first time I went to her house, and here was her mom, little tiny short blonde head lady with, she was like 4'11". She's standing at the kitchen sink doing dishes, and Rhonda and I towered over her. And I just said, Rhonda, I said, why is your mom so short and you're so tall? And she said, oh, that's because I'm adopted. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. Her and her brother were both adopted they were actually siblings, and they were both adopted by the people that her parents. Anyway, yeah, I talked to her just not very long ago. It is common without the H. I'd never seen it that way before, but I've only known 2 other Rhondas besides you, and one had an H and one didn't have the H. Oh, you're named after Rhonda Fleming. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Peter says, in Fast and Furious movie franchise, Vin Diesel says, I don't have friends. I got family, because to him, his friends are family, and that is our community. Isn't that true? Yes. Oh, thank you, Mrs. G. This is my little princess, Chloe. And she's a little bit frisky today. Can we scratch your head? Your head scratched? No? All right. Do you want a kiss? There you go. Your beak rubbed? Your neck? Nothing? You just want to be a pest? I know. I do too. Let me back up here. I don't know why I started at the bottom. Paula says, Peter, yes. And Rhonda says, that's right, Peter. Mrs. G says, does she talk? Only bird talk. The bird that I rehomed was the talking parrot. Well, I feel the same way, that we know each other in person. And I think a lot of it has to do with we see each other speak on camera, and then, we talk through the comments and so on, and like this on a live, and you really get to know what that person is about. Like, for instance, I know Paula is not a phone talker. You need to text her. Sally loves to talk on the phone. I'm either or. It depends. If I have earbuds in, I'll talk on the phone. But if I have to hold it, I'm going to lose interest pretty quick. Rhonda says, I know Paula, and it's my YouTube tribe. Paula says, yes, Rhonda, our tribe. Oh, Mrs. G, you'd rather text too? Sally uses that voice to text. I think I've used it a time or two. I think I was using it one day when I was driving down to Houston, because obviously I shouldn't be texting and driving. Paula says, true. Evie, you have a great memory. Sally could talk for days on the phone. I know she likes to talk, and I will just FaceTime her out of the blue, and she doesn't seem to care. I did it yesterday morning. I was still in my pajamas and no shower, and I was like, I just got up, let's talk, or whatever. It was funny. Hey, Dee. Do you have any, what's the word I want? Like, have you seen anything interesting today? Like a man buying grocery store flowers, or what was the thing before that? I can't remember. Oh, and I have to tell you, Dee, I thought about you because my pinky toe on my left foot, I was putting socks on. My feet were cold one night when I was going to bed. I put socks on. I was like, ow, that little pinky toenail kind of hurts. So I kind of like held it down and got the sock on, didn't think much of it. The next day, the whole toenail came off. It was just barely hooked on, and I just took nippers and cut it off. So yeah, it's not my big toe, but I've got a toenail missing now. Okay, where did I leave off? Okay, Paula says, voice to text doesn't do my Southern accent. Peter says, oh, my wife will not ring anybody. She texts people. I am the opposite. A 2-minute call is quicker than 10 minutes of texting. Yes. But what I like about texting is, like, when I text my daughter-in-law, if she's busy with the boys, then she doesn't feel obligated to answer the phone. She can just, it'll take her 2 or 3 hours to answer me sometimes. And Mrs. G says, I use that to text on the phone. Paula says, weird words get texted. Yeah, when Sally used it, I was Debbie in the text. And Rhonda says, LOL, Paula, mine either. Paula's happy to see Dee. And Dee is laughing with tears. Mrs. G says, Mrs. D, how is your toe? Oh, the toe. She says the toenail came off. Yeah, that's not as bad, my little one coming off, as the big one. I hope it grows back. Paula says, Peter, that's what my husband says. Why text when you call quicker? And Dee says, my toenail stayed on because it happened under my toe now, but it's just healing. Can you believe it? Oh, so I thought that the toenail came. Oh, so you it didn't come all the way off and you put it back on and then you taped it? Peter, why does nobody ever talk about your toe? There's nothing wrong with it, but I still appreciate that people can care about it. You're going to have to go injure yourself, Peter. That's what I'm thinking. My husband we would be on a family vacation years ago and you used the film for your camera, by disposable. And so we would have people in a lake. There's the tent. Oh, there's the kids on bikes. And then all of a sudden there'd be this big hairy toe in the middle of the film roll. And he would do that in every film that we took. There would be this big toe until the day that he was going to lunch at work. And there was one of those revolving doors that you push through. And somebody pulled back on the door and the door came up over his foot and tore the toenail off. And it's not pretty anymore, he says. So we have no more toe pictures. I don't like that his toe got injured, but I don't miss the hairy toe pictures. I really don't. Paula says, my husband's thumbnail just came off. He slammed it in the car door. Ugh. Dee says, no, we needed stitches, but I didn't go, and it happened beneath the toe. Oh, yeah, I knew you needed stitches. And Dee says, oh my, that had a hurt and one of those. Yeah, it did. Excuse me? Am I not paying attention to you? I see you. I see you. Paula, I see that sounds like a movie. Beneath the toe. Paula says, does not D, not C. Oh, I get it. And Dee says, I'm sorry about your husband, Paula. Was what is it with our appendages? I don't know why I can't read. And Peter says, I'm always hitting my toe on the corner of things and realize I can speak languages that don't even exist. Bang, ow. Mother Mary, LOL. She says, Chloe says, hey, Mama, look at me. I know. Are you being jealous? Are you being jealous? Do you want to show them how you can turn in a circle? I don't know if she'll do this on my hand or not. She's used to doing it on a stick, like a perch. Let's see if she'll do it on the hand. Okay, can you turn in a circle for me? My superstar. There you go. Yummy. Do you want to sit down here and eat it? There you go. Good girl. Debbie, guess what? You were not the first one here today. As a matter of fact, you are very tardy, young lady. Paula says, Peter, Sally would say, yes, I know. And Dee and Doug, why am I reading the whole thing? Dee says, and I took a video of my foot, my big toe, after it was over. Of course, I couldn't share it on YouTube. It was so gross. I loved how you called it DNA. That was clever. The DNA was spraying everywhere. And Debbie says, hi, Evie and everyone. And Dee says, hello back to Debbie. And Paula says, hello to Debbie. And Mrs. G says, oh, that's precious. I'm assuming you're talking about this little superstar here. She is a wonderful, wonderful companion. She is very precious. And Debbie says, yes, I am, LOL. I was actually watching Sally's video from this morning. Can you believe that? LOL. And Peter is laughing. And Debbie says, hi to Mrs. G and to D. It's been a half an hour. Are y'all ready to go? Hey, come here. Come here. Are you ready to go? Do you want me to pay attention to you now? Do you want a head scratch yet? Do you want a head scratch? Still no head scratch? Okay. Who is that? Can you see yourself? Who's that pretty girl? Yeah. You're good for longer. Okay. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Thank you, Dee. She is a very pretty bird. It took me 4 years to find her. Mrs. G says, why are you trying to leave us? Because it is the middle of the day and I don't know what other people have going on. And I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted to make a video on. So I thought, well, I'll just do a live and we'll call it good. And the people that are kind enough and watch my videos, they'll be like, oh, thank goodness she didn't put one up today. I have the day off. Debbie, you're right. You did just get here. Paula says, I'm watching old Chopped episodes on Food Network. I haven't watched Food Network in forever. Food Network makes me think of in the early 2000s. My sister came down from Oregon and, we did a lot of cooking and grilling and so on. And I made mashed potatoes. Now my mashed potatoes, that's basically just the, what's the word? Not vessel, but like bread is for your sandwich. And sometimes there's not a lot of flavor to bread. It just holds the meat and cheese. So that's the way my potatoes are, because I will put sour cream, cream cheese, butter, cream, all these things in here. And I mean, they are so creamy and so good. And so my brother-in-law, they were there for like a week. He got up one morning, he took those mashed potatoes and he spread them on a plate, just like taking up the whole plate, put it in the microwave, got it hot, put even more butter on it, and then ate them. So fast forward, they go home, and my sister, which my brother-in-law is not a cook at all, neither one of them cooked that much. But anyway, my sister's on the phone and he's in earshot, and she goes, well, Kurt made dinner last night. And I said, what did he make? And she goes, mashed potatoes. And I said, nice. And what else? And she goes, mashed potatoes. And it took me 3 or 4 times before I realized that's what he made for dinner, was mashed potatoes. And he was watching Food Network the whole time. He was doctoring up those potatoes. That's where that whole story fits together. Where did I drop off? Okay, Rhonda is on break between sessions. This is an awesome relaxer. You're late, Debbie. Oh, did I already read that? I don't think I did. I think I told Debbie she was late. Paula says, I don't feel up to being live myself, so supporting my friends instead. Whine, cough, sputter. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. Mrs. G says, baby, you're doing fine. We just chit chat. It's all fun. We all just hanging out, even though I'm supposed to be working. And D says, you make mashed potatoes still? I pretend I make them. I've been buying the Bob Evans. Oh, well, I only make mashed potatoes like at Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's it. If I go somewhere, they ask me to bring them. If it's here, then I make them here. Let me see. Debbie says, I know Rhonda. And Peter says, I used to love watching Rachel Ray on the Food Network. Yeah, she's got a YouTube channel. I've watched some of her stuff. I think she's ill. And Rhonda says, poor Paula, we missed your lives. Your dishes are going to be piled up. She should have, what's her husband's name? It starts with an R. Have him fill in. He has to do the dishes and do the live for her. That's only fair support. He doesn't have the cows to take care of, so he can do that. Oh, the cows are there till October. Never mind. And Paula says, I love Bobby Flay on Food Network. I don't know who that is. But like I said, I haven't watched it in a long time. When I think of Bobby, I think of Bobby that does all of the nutritional stuff in grocery stores. And Miss G says, homemade mashed potatoes are the best. Yes, they are. And Debbie says, I always make homemade mashed potatoes. So Debbie, do you use the egg beater like the electric one, or do you mash them the old-fashioned way? And Paula says, Rhonda, I've been washing dishes on live. Very sad. I'm laughing because that just looks funny. Not because you're sick and you're not doing a live. That just looks funny. If someone were to read the comments, didn't know what you're talking about, it's crazy. And Dee says, I hardly ever go live. Dee, I think the first time I watched you, you were doing a live on your couch. And I think there was stairs in the background. And I reached out, made a comment to you. And after that live, I went to your channel. And Dee also says, but if I do come to your channel and I say I'm taking a walk, it means I'm running your live. Oh, I gotcha. I've done that once before too. And then I did once where I had the phone with me and I left it on and I stuck it in my little bag because I try not, if I make a video when I'm live, that's when I'm live. When I'm walking, that's fine. But I really like when I go out and walk outside, I like to be listening to, the water, the birds, all the stuff that's going on around me. I don't like to play music or shows in my ear. And Paula says, Dee, we all get really happy when you go live. Randy. Yeah, Randy can do the dishes. He refuses to go live. Does he have to know he's live? I mean, come on, Paula. And Mrs. G says the cows are gone. And Paula says, he says, I talk too loud when I'm live. Well, he should be grateful that you have people to talk to because it cuts down on the time he has to listen. I know my husband appreciates it. And Debbie says, I use both. It depends. Okay. I don't even have a potato masher anymore. And Dee says, I started buying the Bob Evans because Doug didn't know the difference. There you go. Do you remember that old gravy commercial for the gravy that was in the jar? And it's an older couple. And she puts the gravy on his plate. I don't know what it was on, potatoes or whatever. And she asks him if he likes it. And he goes, this is just as good as either homemade or your gravy. Just there's no lumps. Paula says, I know it is funny. Dee says, I always say I have more than one device and it's easy to do that for my friends. Oh, yeah. Paula says, appreciate when you take me for walks, Dee. Dee says, you're welcome. I try to hit everybody occasionally. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I can't keep up with everybody. Paula says the cows stay till next month. I thought I heard you say October. It might have been the one where you walked out by the pastures. And okay, let me see if I can remember the dog's name. Rocky was sitting in the golf cart, or off-road side-by-side thingy. Apparently he drove you down there. And Debbie says, yeah, he says without the lumps. Because I was talking to my dad one day last week and I was making him biscuits and gravy. And he kept talking. I was like, I need to get by because I had to stir the gravy. And I was like, well, it's lumpy. It's your fault. Yeah, Dee says, nobody can keep up with everybody. It's absolutely insane. Mrs. G says, oh, okay, Mrs. P. I thought the cows were already gone. Rambo. Okay. Well, Rambo and Rocky are both tough guys. I had half of it right. Rambo loves to ride the side by side. Yeah, I don't think he realizes that he is canine and you're human. He's just shorter than the rest of you with, kind of a hairy skin. That's kind of the way our dogs are too. And the one that goes on walks with me, that belonged to my mom, he's gotten even more attached to me now that I'm home during the day. And if I leave, like yesterday, I left to go to Hobby Lobby, he throws up. He never throws up if I'm here, only if I leave. Paula says true, and Sylvester Stallone played both. Oh, you're right. You're right. I heard somebody or read somewhere that he is not very tall. I guess because he was so big in those movies, I assumed he was tall, but I guess he's not. Dee says, Miss G, I'm running you right now. Your comments are off, just to let you know you're in the background sitting there. Yeah, her lives, the two I've been on where they're silent, those, I guess you could run them, but you couldn't really hear them. Because if I'm doing a live that, like, I said hello or a rewatch, I'll go off and do stuff around the house with my earbuds in and listen. He says there are people that do silent lives for like 7 to 8 hours. I'd never heard of that before. Mrs. G's was the first one. And Mrs. G says thanks to Dee. Dee says those hours count. I remember how scared I was for my very first live. And they're really not bad. I mean, I guess it's like if I didn't know you, everybody in here, it would be different. I would be sitting there. I don't know who would come on. Hopefully it wouldn't turn out like Paula's with all the trolls. Mrs. G says yes. I don't know if I read that. And Dee says, so you can run silent lives and they're easy to do and they're always somebody that'll run it. You mean like a mod, Dee? And Paula says, do many people watch silent lives? And Mrs. G says, I am so close to my 3,000 watch hours. I'm trying to get there by the end of the week. Good for you. And you've already got your 1,000 subscribers, right? I think so, or in the high 900s. Dee says, you don't have to watch it. You just have to let it play through. Paula says, that's awesome, Mrs. G. I'm so far away, I'll never get there. Dee says, you put a timestamp on when it's over and it's done. Dee says, it's not 4,000 watch hours anymore. Oh, you're 805, Mrs. G? Okay. How many is it, Dee? Did it go up or down? I know, I think I heard 3,000 somewhere, but I don't know if that's right. Dee says, no, I'm actually asking the question, is it still 4,000? Yes, it showed on mine. I got a one of those little flashes that comes up about, I don't know what it said. It was YouTube Studio. And I touched on it and it said like how many subscribers I have. I think it's like 747. And then it said watch hours, and it went all the way to 4,000. But I had heard some people say 3,000. So I don't even know how many it was. I didn't really pay attention. Oh, 3,000 is the first tier for partial monetization. And Dee said, I figured so much. I didn't think they would drop that, although they should. And Paula says, channel will be a year old in December. Do watch hours start over then? I think it's 1 year you have to get your watch hours and then you start over. That's what I was going to say. So on this screen, I don't know if I could find it again if I tried, but on this screen, so it showed, so like 747 subscribers, and it was somewhere between like the 2,000 and 3,000 mark for views. And then I have one short on there that was just reading a sign, and it said 10 million was how many of those you had to have to count for watch time. So it had to be the 1,000 subscribers and one or the other of 4,000 watch hours or 10 million shorts. Like, I don't know if they count those minutes. It wasn't specific. It just said shorts, and it was just, you know, because there's only one, and it said 10M. And Dee says, you have 1 year to get your 4,000 watch hours. And Paula says, I bet Sally has her 4,000 watch hours, but she won't look. Yeah, I don't blame her. One time analytics came up, or I went into it and I saw the chart where it showed, you know, people were watching, and then I saw like an immediate drop off. And I was like, okay, I can either get into this, because this was in February was when I started. And I was like, I can either get into this or I can just let it happen, because I don't know what to do to change it. And I don't know if I'm willing to do anything to change it, because yes, I want to make content that people want to see, but I don't, not at the expense of my own, I want to say happiness, enjoyment of doing it. So I think if I just give it long enough, people are going to find me and the subscriptions will go up and the watch hours will go up. Maybe it won't be in a year, but that's okay. Paula says, going live for an hour every day, Sally has to be close. Yes. And it's, you know, it's something for each of us. Either we've got the subscribers or almost the watch hours, but both together is hard. And Dee says, years ago, I was opening a can of beef on my YouTube channel, and that one gave me 3,100 watch hours. 3,100 watch that one video, which was amazing. You never know what's going to happen with YouTube. And Paula says, same here, Evie. I just want to have fun and hang out with my friends. Yeah, I have that one video. I think you've heard about it, Paula. That was my very last day of work. And I filmed driving in the car to work, how I felt about it being my last day of work. And then I got in the car after work and I drove all the way home, and I put the two together. No editing. I mean, maybe me pushing the button off was all I would have edited. I put it up and it got 44,000 views. And I'm like, what? Well, that never happened again. I was like, I made it. No. And Debbie says, I'm just having fun doing my own thing. Yes, if I had to do this every day and I wasn't interacting with anybody, I don't know if I would stay. I feel like we're fortunate that we got in here at the time we did, where everybody is literally in the little infancy stage of YouTube. And then there's a few more, like Dee that has a bigger channel, and I think that's the only one on here right now that has a bigger channel than we do. And Mrs. G says, well, Miss D, just opening a can of beef. And Dee said, I'm having fun too. I can't be bothered anymore. And Paula says, true. Yeah, you never know. And Dee says, I have some friends that have channels. They don't even put ads on them, and they definitely could be monetized. Right. Because I think that, you know, you don't get paid very much anyway, unless you're really, you know, a bigger channel. So is it worth putting your viewers through watching commercials so that you wait 6 months to get $100? I don't think so. And Paula says, Evie, I wish I would have done that. Oh, your last day of work? Oh, on my last day. Yeah, because I had started my channel the end of February, and then I wasn't doing it every day, but I was practicing like where I wanted to do it, what equipment did I want, and this and that. So I was getting comfortable with my camera, and that was just, I talked about retiring in a lot of my videos, and it was just a insignificant video to me, but Mrs. G says, what was your video again, Evie, that got all those hours? I'm sorry I missed what you said. I never looked at how much watch time it got. It got 44,000 views, and I think it's called My Last Day. And Dee says, girls, right now I'm sitting in my pajamas watching a crime show on YouTube. I'm tired, but I know I'll make a video tomorrow. Dee, if you like the crime shows, do you watch Bailey Sarian? I really like her. There was a couple on there that I watched. I'm subscribed to them on my Bird channel, but there's some really good ones. And I like the guy that's in Ireland. Mike is his first name. I can't think. Oh, That Chapter. I like him too. Rhonda says they've already started putting ads on my videos. Really? And Dee says, believe me, there is so little money in it. That's why I laugh. I might be able to pay a water bill of like $32. And she also says you need a really big channel with lots of subscribers and lots of views before it even takes off to pay really good money. Yeah. And then of course people are selling a class on this or recipes on, there's something that's supplementing YouTube as well. Paula says, I saw a channel where this crazy teen was eating spices by the spoonful. It had 700 viewers. Oh, like on a live? And Debbie says, looking forward to your video, Dee. And Dee says, no, I like those police interrogation. Oh, they're real ones. Okay, I'm talking about retelling true stories. Yes, I did watch some interrogations. And do you watch this channel? It's got 4 guys on there, 4 very, very, like one worked for the FBI, one worked for the military, and they can read face language and body language. And they go over those kinds of videos that you watch, and they will tell you like, oh, you look up to the right or up or down or whatever, whether you're lying or not. I'm going to see what they're called. It's something panel in their name. I'll catch up with you guys in a second because I love this channel. May even be subscribed to both of them. Well, because they'll take like a little section of, I'm not seeing it at a quick glance. They'll take a little section of the video, like, remember the girl that had the baby named Evelyn, and Evelyn had disappeared, and she's standing outside the police station. She's like, I just love my baby, and I just want my baby brought back home. And then they would stop it right there, and then they're interrogators is what they are, at least some of the 4. And I think one guy is British. Anyway, they're highly credentialed men, and they'll go over the body language and whether they're being truthful or not. Anyway, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've already figured it out and I'm still babbling on. Let me look here. Dee says, do you ever listen to Dr. Death? It's a podcast. It's fabulous. No, I don't. And Mrs. G said, yes, there's ads on my channel too. I I didn't know that. I haven't. Oh, because I have the premium. I don't see the commercials. That's why. And Paula says, yes, Crazy Teen was live eating spices. 700 viewers. Beep, beep. Yes, Dee, I'm talking about the body language people. And she says, yes, I do watch those body language people. They are fabulous. Oh my goodness. I'm so impressed by them. Are they called Unusual Suspects? I'm not sure what the channel name is. No, it's something like Body Language Panel or Body something, but I think Panel is in their name. Yes, Mrs. G, thank you. Please like. Paula says, thanks, G. I forgot I liked the live. Thank you. Hey, there's Julie. I don't know who they are. Oh, I just now saw you here. I'm sorry. Behavior panelists or something like that. The name Behavior is in there. I can get lost in watching those guys. There they are. It's called the Behavior Panel. 1.08 million subscribers. They have 1,000 videos. So it's Mark Bowden, Greg Hartley, Chase Hughes, and Scott Rouse. And they're all fabulous in their own way. I do love their channel. There's their pictures. And they're respectful of each other. And so they're all like doing a live with all 4 of them. And then they run the video clip. And then they take turns evaluating. Oh, let's see. What did I miss? Dee says, yeah, each guy gets a chance to speak. It's good. And Debbie says, hi, Julie. And Dee says, yes, something to do with behavior. I wish I would have known all that when my kids were little. I used to tell them, you tell me the truth because I already know the truth. And if you lie to me, you're going to get 2 spankings. If you tell me the truth, you're going to get 1. Your choice. Mrs. G says, hi to Julie. And Sally's here. Hello. Julie says, I want to watch them. Hi, Debbie Sue. And Dee says, yes, that's them. Paula says, Sally. And Mrs. G says, Sally. Julie says, thanks. And Debbie Sue says, hi, Sally. I'm just reading. Paula, Sally, we've been talking about you in all good ways. Mrs. G says, I'll watch them today. Dee says, hello, Sally. Sally says, all the cool kids are here. Is this a secret meeting? Sally. Dee says, that's right, Sally. This is where the cool kids hang out. And Paula says, Sally, I got up at 5 to see Randy off, then went back to bed and slept through your live. Debbie says, Sally, I was really late getting here and they told me I was late. I told them I was watching your video. Dee says, if I'm making an error, I'm talking into the microphone. I can't see those little letters. And Rhonda says, yay, Sally. Paula says, Julie, I didn't see you. I didn't either. It was like, boom, she was there. And I thought I missed it when I was babbling. But I like those retells of the crime shows too. The Bailey Sarian, she's like, I think she's over 1 million as well. She likes to do a lot of the older crimes. Like there was this lady that was stealing other ladies' money, and she would like have them write out letters like saying, I'm doing fine, I'm living blah, 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 blah. And then she would save them up, invite them into her house, and she would do away with them and then use different things to make different kinds of foods. I mean, it's a true story. And she would occasionally send a letter out to make people think that all was well, everything was fine. And I don't think she got caught till after she had passed away and they found all of the remains of everything she'd been up to. Julie says, hi, everyone. I'm eating lunch. It's hard to eat and chat at the same time. I'm so mysterious. Ellie says, Debbie Sue, you're a great friend. Dee says, well, ladies, my phone is ringing. I will replay your live later, honey, and I'll just keep talking, taking a walk with you. Goodbye, girls. Goodbye, Dee. We're probably about done anyway. Don't worry about it. And Debbie is giving Sally some love. Debbie says, bye. Sally says, Rhonda, how was work? Sally says, I watched it twice, so I got the whole gist of it. Paula says, bye, Dee. Rhonda says, it was good. I'm on break in between. I have a session at 3. Well, that's coming right up. I always wonder what it would be like to be a therapist, because it kind of felt like at work, that's what I was. There were so few women. So, the men would just like take turns coming in and sitting down and talking about what was going on, what was wrong, what was right, or whatever. And there was some of those people I'd be like, no, not today, not today. Sally says, this is the day of the week. We did your live last week, right? Mine? I don't know. Julie says, I have a meeting at 3 too. And Sally says, so you have a whole week under your belt there, girlfriend. Are you, I don't know who you're talking to, Sally. Hi, Sally, Dee, and Paul. And I think Dee left. Rhonda. Oh, there we go. It's a lot of active listening. Yeah. I'm getting better. I did interrupt so bad that I would interrupt myself in my own video. And I didn't realize I was doing it until I watched it back, and I was like, oh, you need to work on this. You need to get this fixed right now. What do you want? Do you want it to be all about you? Here you go. Come on, get off my finger. Go over there. Okay, let's wind it up, guys. Guys and gals. I think Peter left a while ago. I haven't heard from him. There's only 4 people. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the company, the chat. This is Jesus. I feel the same way, Evie. I couldn't be a therapist. My face would tell exactly how I'm feeling about what they'd be talking about in my therapy sessions. I know that's true because I saw you after you typed, my husband's got, I think it was a TV up too loud. I could see the expression. And Sally says, you think you are better? LOL, I really try, but I keep talking and talking. And then I have something in my hand. I have to hurry up and say it, or I forget what I'm going to say. You're asking me if I think I'm any better? Yes, I do. But I still catch myself like speeding up to overlap the words, and I have to, I think I am, maybe I'm not, but as long as I feel I'm better, that's all that matters. Okay, great live. Great to see everyone. Great chat. Okay, goodbye. Hey, Sally, I'll see you when I see ya.